good. I thought yesterday was real good. The energy was good. We flew around. Day two is good, but we're still only in helmets, and I think they're ready to put the pads on and hit. It's been a while since they've had the opportunity to do that. So I think the coaches and the staff and the players have done a great job. I don't know if you could get more out of the first two practices than we have just being in helmets. We were still able to work run game. We did install run periods where it's like a jog through tempo. We have scout looks where the offensive players give themselves a scout look, so we're able to get run game put in. Defense does the same thing. Got a lot of installation in the passing game. Got a lot of good work in the passing game and 7-on-7 and skellies and things like that. So I thought it was really good. I thought we had two really good days. And then we had all the high school coaches here as well. They got over about 180 high school coaches here yesterday. Probably lost a few today.
Can you talk about the differences between this year and last year at this time?
It's everything last year. There wasn't one thing that we could take for granted. I mean, every little thing. And you still don't want to take things for granted now, but my point is they just understand. They understand where we're going to move on the field, where we're going to go, how practice goes. They have a much better understanding of the schemes. They got a much better understanding of the techniques and fundamentals. All those things. Denny Dowds, my college coach, who's here this weekend as well. He was here last year for the first practice, and then this year, and so we look like a different team. And had a bunch of high school coaches comment about that. So I think we physically look better, but I think mentally when we're confident of our assignments and our techniques as well across the board.
Coach, it's early in practice, but is anyone standing out to you offensively, defensively, individually?
No, I'm always kind of a little reserved about doing that because, to me, I don't want to point specific guys out because, I can list out a bunch. I will say this, DeAndre Tompkins got a couple vertical balls today and ran, probably different than the way we've had guys run with pads on. Some guys test real well but don't play fast. He was playing fast, and I didn't think he did that last year. He looks like a different guy. So I've been pleased with him. I know talking to Terry Smith and our DBs, just watching the DBs, their technique isn't as clean when they line up against him because they know he can run by him, and that's what happens. It affects you, and that's why we want to be able to have speed at wide receiver, speed at DB, speed at every position, speed at defensive end, because it puts fear in people. And I think he's got a guy that's going to be able to do that. He's looked really good at catching punts and returning kicks, hoping he can do those things as well for us. So he's the one guy, but I could probably name 15 guys.
James, one of the things you mentioned on Tuesday was there was obviously focus at offense. What have you seen so far, from those positions, and how important are those positions?
I think our footwork and our assignments is better at both, but there are two positions it's really hard to evaluate truly without the pads on. The O-line looks completely different. Physically, they look different. Adding in Paris, who's 6'8", and Sterling, that's 6'8", and now having Chaz coming back, who's 6'7", 325 or whatever he is, and all those redshirt freshmen that have put on 20 pounds, the whole group just looks different. And we have so much more length. Linebacker, I think we got a lot of competition. Someone's going to have to take the job, but for me to say right now before the pads are on with those two positions is difficult. Yeah, it's the competition aspect of practice. It's not about us doing anything really different. It's just a couple things. We have a legitimate 2 deep at every position, some 3 deep. So that alone is going to create some competition. We had some positions and some guys last year that they had no one behind them and they knew it. And that can create some challenges. Some people are just motivated internally and they don't need any external motivators. And a lot of us need something like that. So I think that's going to help. Just the competition that we have at each position, but also good players across the board going against each other across the line of scrimmage, offense versus defense. I hope with all the work that we put in and the development that we've had with our current players and then the influx of new players, that it's just going to make everything we do more competitive. It's not like we're necessarily doing different drills.
When did your voice go?
Well, we were here till late last night. It was hamburgers and wings and talking ball last night. I didn't leave the facility till about 11:30, and My body's on a clock, so I wake up every morning at 4:45 anyway. So I think that probably had a little bit to do with it. So we were here till late and back in the morning talking ball with the high school coaches and hanging out with them, which I thought this chalk talk thing we did turned out really well. A lot of times you go to clinics and the guy gets up and talks philosophy and theory, and you don't get a whole lot out of it, where this was break up by rooms, sit down and just talk. Talk about football. They had questions about this technique or this scheme or this philosophy, and just sit around and talk by position. And I thought they really liked it, and I know our staff did as well.
Jim, do you have to see the January guys on the field now twice? What have you seen from those guys? How are how do you feel about their progress so far?
Yeah, Tommy Stevens, typically quarterbacks, their first day of practice, I don't care who they are, they look awful. They went from throwing really nice spirals in high school and they get out here thinking too much, and the footwork is different, and they look bad, and you start second guessing yourself about why you took them, to be honest with you. And I haven't seen that from him at all. It actually was the opposite. There was a buzz and an excitement around here yesterday about how the ball came out of his hands and how he threw it. He's still got a long ways to go, don't get me wrong. We're not ready to induct him in the College Football Hall of Fame, but the ball came out of his hand pretty good the first day, and we're excited about that. I thought Sterling, you guys saw, he's just a massive human being. We had to order a helmet from some Russian company in the middle of the nowhere. He's just massive. Everything on him is huge. He's learned really well. He's very conscientious. He's very hardworking. He's still got a ways to go, but I'm pleased with him. And then you got Paris, whose movements are really good, but he looks like a power forward. He looks like he should be playing for Chambers right now. And he's 296, but it's 6'8". He just looks skinny. So right now our focus with him is his fundamentals, technique, and the learning aspect. And I'm confident between now and the opening game against Temple that the strength staff will be able to get the right amount of weight on.
How much more productive are these practices when you have guys like Christian and Anthony Zettel who've been through a year under you already? You kind of have almost like the extra coaches on the field in the huddle, sort of familiar with everything that's going on.
I think it's really important to have the returning players that are familiar with the system, to have all the returning coaches at every single position, because I don't care if you run the same scheme, you bring a different coach and he's going to have some different opinions or philosophies on techniques and things like that. We don't have that. So at every single position, not only are the schemes the same, but the philosophies and the beliefs and the techniques and things like that. So the returning players are important, the returning coaches are important. Obviously, we're going to tweak some things. We're going to grow as coaches and add some things to the way we're teaching, or a wrinkle here or there. But overall, it's been really, really good.
I know Dwight said that when Paris got here, this strength stuff was a lot different than what he'd been used to, and as his body changed. What weight do you guys ideally want him at? Do you have a number in mind, or like you said, it's kind of...
Yeah, I think that would probably be a better question for Coach Galt and the training staff. If I had to guess, I think 310 would probably be a good weight for him this year, and then next year he's got a chance to get into the 320s. Low 320s, somewhere in that range. He's just so long. You look at our defensive ends, all of those guys are like 257 or higher. I think Nassib is 272, and they still look skinny because Nassib's almost 6'7". So it's just, we all would wish for that, to be so long you can put on weight and it distributes across your body, not like me and my butt and my belly, So they're so long and they have so much length that they're going to carry a lot of weight. So I think 310, I'm going to talk probably with Coach Galt, more specifics about that, and the training staff. We've done bod pods on all of our guys to get an idea of bone density, as well as lean muscle mass, as well as percentage of body fat, and that will help as well.
Toward the end of last year, one of those things you said exciting about Gino Lewis was his room for growth in a lot of areas. What are you looking to see from him this spring?
Well, he physically has a lot of skills. We've all seen it. He's made some dramatic catches. He's got great leaping ability. He's got great body and length. He's got to be more disciplined with all the things that he's doing, details inside and out. If the route's supposed to be 4 steps to the outside foot, it's got to be 4 steps to the outside foot. Those things, and that's not just Gino. That's a lot of our guys cleaning up all those details. And I think a lot of times these guys were just so good in high school. You know, they could just go out and do it with athletic ability, but we're going against other really good players. So all those specifics and all those details are so important. You know, so I think he's got a lot of room for growth. He's a really smart guy. So you take his athletic ability and his intelligence and then get all the details and the specifics work out. And I think you got a chance to be a fun guy to watch.
You seem to have fun with these guys a lot. Is that part of the daily routine that you have fun with them as well as work them hard?
I want to. I mean, you know, we come out here and we fly around and work really hard. With same thing in our office with our staff. That's something that I think you got to be able to do. I talk to the guys all the time about really successful people can find a way to work hard and have fun while they're doing it. You're going to do the work anyway, so you might as well find a way to have some fun and enjoy it. You know, we talk all the time. I hear coaches all the time talk about leadership in players. We don't have enough leaders on offense. We don't have enough leaders on defense. We don't have enough leaders on special teams. And then you hear coaches talk about developing leadership. And we want to do those things, but the best thing that we can do as coaches is us lead by example with our energy and our enthusiasm and our attention to detail and all those things. So it starts with us, and then it funnels down to the rest of the guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thank you.